Perfect.
Like I'm working.
Yep, we're all good. Thank you. Thanks, Michelle.
Yep.
Maybe in terror.
You're right.
So, we have. All right, call to order. We have quorum and owner comments, and there is no owner comments. So we're gonna start out with the discussion items, and the first one, timely enough, is the communications manager. You Want to do the introduction?
Yeah, so I am lucky that I get to, as far as this item, get to say we have a new communications manager. Yeah, this is Michelle Kustic.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
It's okay. It's a tough one.
Michelle's first day is today, so.
Okay.
And I get to
Should
meet
have
all.
told us ahead of time.
Right?
Oh, we just, I mean, it was one of those, we were watching those approvals run through, and I think the final approval came through on Friday.
think so.
Yeah, so it was one of those, I didn't have it, we weren't
Sure.
sure if it'd be today, but we were lucky
Did they
enough.
run you through the ringer?
No, not too bad. I'm just lucky to be able to be here in time to meet y'all. So thank you.
So today it's been, yeah, so she's definitely been drinking from the fire hose today, as far as, trying to understand all of our processes and all of the different nuances that the comms manager's in, and trying just to get logged into all of the multifaceted of accounts. Our communications manager has about, 5 email accounts to monitor between marketing email, the submissions email, her corporate email, her town hall email, and then the SierraNet submissions as well. So, I mean, just getting logged into all the email accounts alone is a big feat.
I have
for
a lot of
her.
passwords. I don't remember them all yet.
Yeah, so that's exciting. With that, do you want to say a little bit about your background? and-
Sure. I'm a 23-year resident here, so I've seen quite a bit. I've seen sort of where a lot has started and how it's evolved, and I can see in some ways where it's going. So I think that is maybe helpful in understanding residents and understanding needs, understanding maybe what can be improved upon, what really worked, and just kind of listening and seeing where I can go from there. My professional background is in digital marketing, strong in copywriting and graphic design, but also in branding. And so, I think I can utilize all of that with my residency to sort of help serve the role as best as possible.
Okay.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
I
having
like
me.
hearing the word digital.
There you go.
All right, so next is the define the committee objectives. Is that, so submitted that, is that you, Jacob, or?
Brought it up
Okay.
because as we start to close off this term with this committee, I think it would be good if this committee was the one to kind of have the initial draft of the resolution for the next committee. So it's like, what do we want to continue on? And then I'll present that to the board, and the board may add or change some things. Usually they're pretty accepting though. But I feel like
Objectives and goals?
yeah, kind of like where we had this past resolution, this for the committee was to kind of look at Monday Matters and Friday Flash and the magazine to make sure things are more equitable and what we're putting out there and engaging. We did that in the committee, and I think that helped a lot. The prior communications manager have those guidelines, but we've also gotten some good resident feedback from some of those clubs. So maybe we might want to take a look at some of that feedback in this next cycle and the next cycle, and then see if we need to tweak any of those guidelines too as well. So that could be part of the objectives, or whatever the committee thinks that communication still needs to work on within the association too.
Okay.
So I guess kind of look at the past. You could also this past year's resolution was basically the one from the prior year because it hadn't been completed yet. But I feel like you guys really did a lot to complete it. So I don't think it should be the same one going forward. I think it should be updated.
Fair enough. Any feedback? Doug?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good place for the new group to start, whoever's on it. I guess my biggest question to be resolved or addressed for the new committee is, where's the line? Is there a line separating our support for the CROA board and the community and Kanoa members and the businesses? Because one of the things that I found uncomfortable, and I like her a lot, but I thought Amy's objective while she was on the committee was to get as much notoriety for Island Village and her business. And so I don't think she was serving, and again, nothing against her, but I don't think she was serving the objectives we had to address community needs and the board's needs. And so I just throw that out there as something to think about as we develop objectives for the next committee. Or is there a separation? I mean, I don't know what.
We're gonna have to figure that out, I think almost at the board level on how to help you with your role, because it is very unique in that you're answering to both CROA and Kanoa. And yeah, I think it's important that we have some sort of like, I don't know if management can maybe make a recommendation at some point to the board. So we don't have like too much, like being pulled one way versus another.
I think the opportunity to get pulled two different ways is there. And we're gonna have to lean on management and identify ways to
And
keep her sane and on track.
yes, because I don't want you to feel any type of like natural consequences of the way that this is set up between both organizations.
So
don't
I can speak on that this is something that we have been very cautious about, especially with the fulfillment of this role in its current state. And we've been, in conversations with Kanoa on this, as I know actually when we were launching this, it went to the CROA board, and the CROA board was willing to pay more in a larger contribution to CJC. So that way that basically the most of the scope of the comms manager, it moves towards CROA.
You guys know what CJC is?
No.
Okay.
The Celebration Joint Committee, which is basically any shared services that Kanoa and CROA utilize. So a fair amount, not all of the staff at Town Hall, but a fair amount of the staff at Town Hall is paid through CJC because they support both. There's a few that like our service areas, the townhomes, and the maintenance department. Those are specifically paid for by CROA because they only service CROA. But positions like myself, our finance manager, our communications manager, our events manager, they support both. So they're paid for out of that both bucket. And the CJC doesn't have any dues that, how does it pay us, or how does it pay for anything that CJC funds? It's through a cost sharing agreement between Kanoa and CROA, saying, we'll fund this amount of the overall budget. And that's what those two boards have been kind of and a lot of discussions in the past 2 years mainly about. And that goes into some background with Kanoa. They finally have a bigger voice than they've had for many, many years, with the TCC stepping off of the Kanoa board.
What's the TCC?
The Celebration Company, which is Disney.
Disney.
So they kept 3 of the 5 seats of Kanoa,
CJC.
or of Kanoa. Actually, they held 3 of those seats until fall of 2024. And when they pulled off, that really let the other members of the Kanoa board, and now the people who backfilled that, to say, hey, we didn't really like what was happening necessarily for many years with the Kanoa board under CJC's majority control, and now we want retribution for that. And so there's been a lot of conversations with that. That's why the cost sharing agreement was modified in such a large amount for the 2026 fiscal year. And in that, one thing that has come up is the communications manager. As as slightly outlined in just an overall justification for the roles, it was a pinpoint, not tied to a contract, but a pinpoint nonetheless, that said that our comms manager does about 75% of their workload is CROA and 25% of their workload is Kanoa. And right now we're at a point where Kanoa is saying, hey, we want that 25%, that 10 hours a week, if we're going to boil it down. And we want that for, and now we pause and we're asking them, it's now sent to both boards, asking what are their expectations from this department of one?
Yep.
And while if that is the case, well, we thought we were down a path, like I said, where Crow was saying, hey, we'll pay for that extra 25%. So we can say it's easy. It's going to be mainly CROA focused and we'll move forward. Right now, Kanoa is not in favor of that. They want that. So right now we've asked management has asked each of the boards for a list of expectations of what they need from an administrative and project base out of their role. Because while if it needs to support both, it can be done. But most likely when we talk about projects like relaunching a website, a weather camera, things like that may have to be paused or looked at, how do we fulfill that scope elsewhere? Because the comms manager has a lot of daily administrative work that just doing what the administration needs to support both businesses takes a lot of that workload. Less in mind special projects and things or rehauls. So that right now is with both of the boards till I think the 9th to kind of get back to us, so then they can discuss that and we can kind of see where that goes with it. As far as
Of that 75-25, how much of that is blended? Because it sounds like they're staying safe.
and that's why it's with there, because a lot is blended. And, we can say that with support of, the fulfillment of the Celebration News magazine and the article, there's a spotlight every month on the farmer's market, a spotlight on one of the Kanoa businesses, that is attributable to their 25%, connecting things in the Friday Flash and the Monday Matters about their organizational meetings or organizational updates in Kanoa, that can be utilized as that 25%. As well. And then really the whole thing that we're cautious on is the involvement with the Visit Celebration DBA that they've split off into. I'm trying to, in some sense, make sure we have clear parameters of how far we step into that and how much that they outsource through different ways that they're looking at outsourcing or funding it as well.
So it's a little bit convoluted, and thank God that you've been here 23 years, so you kind of superficially at least know kind of the architecture, I think.
Yes.
That's a good way to explain it.
You're probably thinking, holy crap.
It's been a big day.
Bar the door.
Yeah, so let's be open here. We've gone through a lot of communications managers. I've been on this committee for 2 years and I've seen 3 of them.
Okay.
So you're number 4. And I don't know why there's been a flux like that, but maybe this is one of the reasons. So I would strongly suggest to you that you get 100% clarity on what the expectations are for you. And I would also suggest do a communications plan and that aligns with the objectives that you're gonna have to listen to this guy, those are, and that lady back here, but you need to be 100% clear on what your goals are in this role, because
Good point.
otherwise you're gonna be spinning wheels and talking to people who want something, and it's gonna get you out of your sweet spot. And you are not a neophyte in business, so you know how to do it, and I would suggest you do it for this job.
Thank
It's
you.
a good point.
Things I told Jennifer, she talked to us right before she let us know that she had another opportunity. She would get a lot of pushback. Not even a lot of pushback, but there is some like where organizations kind of maybe like going around. It was just like there wasn't a clear line of communication that she felt like she was struggling with some of the other organizations for set like magazine submittals and stuff like that. And I told her in the end, since I'm like the liaison, I said, if you are getting, some sort of like pushback or like, struggling with answering these questions, just copy me on your response And I'm happy to step in and explain, this is why things are, the way that they are. Instead of like feeling like you need to like try to appease, everyone, like I'm happy to.
She's our liaison. profile.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And basically all these decisions fall on the board. So like it's our job to kind of like take accountability
Okay,
for like the decisions. So you feel free.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told Jennifer, let the new communications manager.
That's huge. I mean, you
Mhm.
need
Thank
a
you.
support system.
For sure.
Definitely do.
She just volunteered and it's structured so that you have that support system, so you're not in the boat by yourself. She's in the boat with you.
Yeah.
He's probably in the boat with you.
Like one of the initiatives is Kanoa is their website. And to me, that is huge. Because, and that's not a 10-hour-a-week job in my estimation. So that's the kind of things we're gonna have to work through.
Yeah.
And we took up 25%.
One question for Jacob though. Is there something in place like, technically like with the board, we don't just like reach out. I mean, I would as a liaison, but like technically like Jared would not just reach out and tell you to do something. Like that's not like our protocol. Usually we ask Lauren and Jacob and usually it comes from the board as a whole, even not just like one board director directing management. Is that clear on Kanoa's side? If they have requests, do they go through you and Lauren?
We have made that request for the refill of this, or the fulfillment of this position, saying that that was a stress point in the
Yeah.
past. And as right now, we're working at really, creating a lot of concrete directives and understanding what are the goals of Kanoa and getting those precise. So that way we know what the expectations are from Kanoa as a whole. And so that has been in one of their most recent meetings saying that we are requesting that anything for communications comes through me and I will be the conduit to help with that. Because as you said, and then we also recommended for Kanoa to engage in the liaison program that CROA does because it works very well. And so we are, so we're still, communicating those messages out to them saying, we really would like a liaison. If you need someone for your website instead of the whole board, do you have a liaison to your website and communication? So that way, if it's me, because
Yeah.
trying to get one direction is sometimes where we're struggling and has been the struggle in the past. And then backing up a little bit, another struggle in the past, as you mentioned, was a lot of our submissions from different contributors.
Yeah.
And one thing that has been accomplished by with help from this committee in the past year has been the submission guidelines for the magazine and for the Friday Flash. Now, implementing those, now we're at a point where they're really good tools and we have these, we have great things so that we're not providing exceptions and there's not that, but you did it for Sue, but not for Jay.
Right.
However, anytime you implement new rules, we got a lot of pushback and a lot of hesitation. So, it had to get harder before it got easier.
And it's generally from ones that are most guilty of not
Mhm.
following the general guidelines to begin with.
Yeah. And I will say in the past,
A lot of, we're just talking Frank here, some people would wait till the last minute and then just deluge with the communication of a bunch of stuff. And she's gonna spend all her day trying to get everything ready for Friday Flash, for Monday Matters.
submitting things late, submitting things incorrectly, not to our format, and say, well, you've done it. And so now we've gotten really stern on to submit in Friday Flash. It needs to meet these parameters. It needs to be a flyer. And if it doesn't meet these parameters, that's it.
Yeah.
Here's the guidelines again.
Need to be.
Yeah, here's the guidelines for you again. And, please meet these guidelines and we're happy to include it, but we're not going to do the work on the back end.
And that's really important for you. If you get pushback from people, submitting things and that they're not in format or whatever, go to your management. Because we got shut down early
Yeah.
on with the new manager.
Right.
Because I think Jennifer worked around it and it caused her a lot of frustration and
Yeah.
time.
So in the past month and a bit, I've been working with all of our submitters for the submissions for Friday Flash and the magazine. And knowing that this would have been or can be a pain point for our new comms manager, I have been very stern on those rules. So that
Because you've been getting them, right?
yes.
Because you've been
Mhm.
doing them. on demand.
So that way, it sets that expectation that it won't be, that this is the rule, it's coming from the top and it's not gonna be, we're not gonna soften on it.
Okay, good.
And the same with the magazine submissions as well. They've been pretty, January and the February submissions for the magazines, we've been saying, hey, if they're not in by the dates, they're not in by the dates.
Yeah, the
And
minute
that's
you
it.
give leeway, then everything breaks down.
Yeah.
If you're a stickler for the process, they're gonna say, okay, I need to now do this. There are no exceptions.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So.
Are you a
that's-
process person by nature?
I can be.
Okay.
With kids, it follows the same rule.
Some of these people.
If they know
some
that
of these
there's
people
an
are children, so-
exception. Oh, I wasn't trying to
Not
say that.
literally.
You learn some of these tools
Yeah,
through
so
other life activities.
Jen and I worked a lot with trying to make it so that way everything wasn't always a needs action right away. And so we have created different internal buckets and channels for our team to utilize to put things in for Friday Flash. So it's not that, every day we need to be in every one of the systems. I'd say I've been fortunate enough to been that person, I've tried it myself in the
Yeah,
month
you've been
and be like,
good.
okay,
So you know.
these systems are working and working in a way they hadn't in the past. And so it should be, while of course the onboarding for this role is, a major feat to pass. This is with all the information. The systems are there. It's not in the, it's not a lot of we have to develop them now. It's just we have to learn them. But luckily, I think we are past the major hurdle on the training of our different programs on how to on meeting these submission guidelines. Now they all know what to do. They're sending in on time. We received every submission needed for the March magazine by the 20th deadline.
Good.
And this week, I'm really happy to have Michelle on this week because this is the crunch week and we finalize the magazine
Amazing.
in this first week for March. So we're basically done. We'll be done with the magazine except for reviewing proofs
Mhm.
by the end of this week, really by mid this
Oh,
week.
you'll be right in the middle of it.
Mhm.
That's great.
I just have one last thing to say about you. So this committee was established to be a resource for the manager and also to be a consult to Jacob and Katie and the board. So I think one of the deficiencies, at least in my view, I think I've been on the only two committees that have existed. So
Mhm.
the one thing that didn't happen enough was for the communications manager to tap the expertise and the experience that the members of the committee have.
I
I
agree.
mean, we got a boatload of years
Yeah.
in different, but totally related businesses. And I think I can count on one hand the amount of times away from this committee that I consulted with Janine, mostly Janine, never Jen, never, about whatever questions you have. It could be anything,
Mhm.
but I would, again, I don't know who's the composition of the committee, TBD. I think we have two meetings, right? This one and one more.
Correct.
Is this one? And the new committee could be back, maybe not. But we are here as a resource to you.
Thank you.
And
I would say absolutely take advantage of that.
Mhm.
We reached out to Jennifer a lot. I had some interaction with her, got articles and magazines and stuff to help her out. But there's resources here and outside this room,
Thank you.
and please use this, because I don't want you to drown. We
I
want
appreciate
you to
that.
be here. We want
Yeah.
to utilize you for the best. So,
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
great.
I was giving this committee good actually accolades and props today because I said, they have been really helpful on, the development of those guidelines were one, I think Jennifer and I took the first stab at it, but we brought it to the committee saying, here's the issue, here's a solution. And the committee backed up and said, yep, these look good. They provided input and we got those, to a point where we could recommend them to the board for the board to take action and they approved them. So, they are really great as a sounding board and can help us in these types of political challenges. Where, like I said, when you're dealing with community partners, that have been in the community for decades, changing the processes.
Yeah.
But now I will say, we are in a much better spot with a lot of our community partners and the relationship with comms. So that's good. I'd like us to refocus back though. What do we want the next term
Mhm.
to look like for the resolution?
Well, we
I pulled
already
up
said
the
we
resolution from last
Make sure
year.
that we fully support you, and then if you get any beats or you feel like you need pull different ways, get management involved and or the board, right? You can say that. What other ideas? Things maybe we started and we haven't.
Rephrase that, like maybe you want to make that like an objective. Or just a. Well,
It kind of is the nature, I mean,
yeah.
in essence, it is the nature of it, as most of our committees are advisory committees. They're to to tap the resources and to advise on the specific substance, this one being communications, both as far as to help the management team and the board in those types of actions.
Yeah, given, pretty much.
It's a given, but it's not bad if we want to throw things in, because, while it is a given, sometimes we forget that,
I think putting it in writing for our partners
Mhm.
to see that we're really,
Alright, so how would you want to phrase it? Something like very clear, for the committee to support management.
Well, just remember that objectives need to be measurable. So
Mhm.
that's,
that's a good point.
so everything we come up with, or you come up with, you need to say, look at it and go, okay, how do I have accountability for this? What does it mean that this got achieved? And so measurability, if you can't measure it, it's not an objective. So.
So philosophically, I guess I say, but we're here to support you. And if you find yourself getting into the weeds, reach out.
Thank you. Thank
I mean,
you.
I think one objective for you or for this committee is to, adhere to the approved processes. That, that needs to be sort of the foundation for every other thing that you do. So some type of, adherence to communications processes or however you want to phrase that, that to me is a foundational objective, and it's really measurable. So you can point to the examples, how it worked. Celebration Magazine was, on time, 100%, Friday Flash, 100%. You can also create objectives for all the tools that you have. You could also create objectives for using technology. You have digital background. One of the deficiencies I think we have as communicators is that we don't use social media enough and don't leverage its existence. So that might be another objective for you.
I like that a lot because it's up to the committee on how. I know we've kind of discussed it before, but I like the idea of having our communication channels also be very informative and learning for residents, because there's a lot, to understand really the way the dynamics work in town. So maybe like you said, for the online communications, maybe some sort of, goals or on how to, engage residents, whether it's through, in the past, I know they've highlighted town projects, which I love seeing on our town hall Facebook page. I know that's a lot of work because Jennifer shot the videos and did it, but I mean, residents loved it, and then they learn what management has been doing, where their money has been going. So we use our social media for that. I think it's really good. Or even if it's just kind of some of the articles I love in Monday Matters, where they explain, certain things like ARC, or, where there's and that maybe if that was also put on social media. So people, if they're not reading Monday Matters, they see it on the town hall web page. So the social media, I think
Social media is huge. And I
think we can.
I will see, yeah.
Able to reach
Just so
out.
you're aware, we only really use our Facebook and Instagram pages for events. In current state, they are event centric, and that's it. So we're not really talking about.
But I
these
think we need to get
updates.
past that.
I
For-
agree,
For
yeah.
example, like town hall. A blast, e-blast, like when the fence went in. That would have been a great opportunity to do a 15-second video, put it online, telling the residents what this is, because they didn't know why this construction fence was up. You know, and I think Jennifer did a couple of those little blasts, right?
She,
And people liked it.
yeah, she did like Christian, she highlighted Christian when he was like our maintenance director and talked a little bit about like what the maintenance team did. I think this was what the highlight was. But
It was
one of
a
the things maintenance-
Turf refreshing.
Yeah, yes, that was such a huge thing. They did it in-house and they saved the association a lot of money. It was a beautiful video on it and like that right there is like great.
So
Yeah.
measurable, maybe we start out with maybe twice a month. Or I don't know what the number is, twice a month we have an e-blast, video, short video. And I think whoever the committee is going forward, someone would probably be interested in going around with their iPhone and getting some footage and put it together, a little 15-second blast that goes out.
Something, yeah.
Something like what she did with Christian,
Yeah, it would be great to have something.
like an Instagram.
I
It
think,
could be posted on Instagram and the.
so I was gonna say educational posts are huge, like people love those. I think the first thing that's missing is just campaign on letting people know what our social medias are, which ones to look at. Cause I mean, frankly, Katie, I look at your stuff a lot of the time because you're posting a lot of the informative things in town, but I don't see that anywhere else.
Yeah,
Like that should actually live on a celebration owned social.
but a lot of it is like I'm taking from the
Yeah.
different,
I think that's what it is, right? If we put it on the town hall
Yeah.
Facebook page, even if people aren't there, there is a lot of pull from people like Katie that then take that post and repost it on the porches.
yeah, and
that's,
be the goal for it to
Mhm.
come though from town hall's page.
That'd be
I
the
wanna-
goal.
Then shared
so.
to that porch.
I need to
or-
pause us here though, because I'm hearing I'm hearing two different things in my seat, because if what you're mentioning as far as, maybe twice a month, these are objectives that are part of a scope of work for the individual that we're not sure where that scope of work lies between the two boards right now. But what I want to try to tie these objectives more back to the committee. And I heard something like you said, maybe the committee assists on the monthly meeting, we discuss what in the next month or the fall, we do for an educational piece. So, I mean, that way we can try to make them more tied to the committee and they could lead on those.
Where would
What,
the education piece be, like on the town hall website?
We need to decide it.
Okay.
what educational highlight do they want for the following month? And that, if they help create kind of that structure as far as we want to highlight this and how, and then they'll go and connect with the liaison from the Parks and Rec Committee or whatever it is about that. And then kind of do that first level dig. So that way, we're providing almost that raw content to our communications manager to then make it, so they already have the content and all they have to do is make that a post or make that a thing. Because I agree, and I've been thinking on the same thing. We want to do more of the, posting about the splash pad being built out. And we're just at that point of like, while we have the aspiration, we don't have the time or the process to get that through. And I want us to get there, but it also, we have this, finite amount of resource. And right now, while we can't in this room confidently say what that scope looks like until the two boards have agreed on what they want the priorities and expectations of the role are, I want to make sure we can focus, what can this committee do to move forward and still keep things moving, no matter what we see that.
And I think it's also who's on the committee. Because depending on who's on the committee, they may have the time and skill sets to do some of these educational pieces and funnel them to you, and you prove them and get them out there. You can't do it all.
But like an objective could be to develop a social media campaign.
Yeah.
And then then the new committee can then say, okay, month one, when they have their meeting, what do we want, this campaign to look like? And then maybe it's just what you just said, kind of like introducing the different social media platforms and where to go to get information, signing up for Monday Matters, Friday Flash, because a lot of residents don't have that. So like that could be like month one, like the committee will brainstorm something. And then once they got that, and they could submit whatever material, and then that could kind of be like, okay, well, I have this little, roadmap for month one on what to post for social media. Something like that.
So maybe for next month, we kind of come up with some things that we think needs to be communicated out.
Well, I mean, you could do that, or we can just wait and have it part of.
Well, the new board. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, that's
Objectives, like for the new term.
what we could say for the new committee. Our recommendation would be to identify certain things that maybe people don't understand or communicate out and what media we're going to use to get it out.
So like, yeah, to develop the campaign, and we can be specific in this objective on, the parameters for like educational awareness.
I'm surprised. I had to speak at the one of the new resident forums, what's the mother?
Yeah.
And it's amazing what people don't know.
Right.
Because you guys, what's your new title, the management company?
Oh, a real management
Real
elevated
So they
onsite,
kept
yeah.
it real management. So I asked them, you guys know real management? No,
Mhm.
pro. So it's just little educational things like that that people don't understand.
Another objective is to develop opportunities or identify opportunities to educate new and existing residents about resources, history, different components that make this a viable and thriving community. So maybe that communication would address that gap that exists. I also think besides I think a social media plan is perfect.
Yeah.
I also think a process needs to be like development of a social media, content development process could be part of that. And it's a separate objective
Yes.
because you can't have the plan till you come up with the process.
That's
So it's like stepwise approach makes it easier for you as well.
Yeah, campaign.
Because that doesn't exist, neither exists.
Right.
And you gotta have the process before you have the campaign,
Mhm.
so.
Okay, so.
I also think an objective needs to make some reference to the anniversary coming in 2026.
Mhm.
So whether it's leveraging events or we can't ignore that. It's sort of like the elephant in the room for the year, for the calendar year. So some objective related to support of community activities needs to be very, it's kind of obvious, but I think it'd be a gap if we don't mention it. So I think it should be part of our.
Yeah, anytime we can get the 30 and the messaging tied back with the 30th anniversary and get people excited because we're doing a lot of events this year. Not spend a lot of money on these events would be great.
How do we measure success there?
Just to provide examples of how you did it and how you supported it.
Mhm.
So. Again,
So support 30th anniversary
Yeah.
town events.
Right.
And that can be done through all of our channels. But you know what we could say for the committee to find new ways, additional ways to support town events and 30th anniversary events, because it can be ongoing. Management already is doing it through our channels. Maybe the committee can come up with another idea if that's something that's important. Like brainstorm different ways to get the word out to residents. I don't know.
And we worked on this a little bit this year. The river separation between Canoa and Crowell, like Canoa does those events like the car show. We weren't advertising it on the Friday Flash. And we brought it to Jennifer's attention and it was like, oh, okay. So I really want to make sure that we don't ostracize or not include any Canoa events like the car show or anything that they do and any communication pieces we do,
That won't be, it'll be, I mean, any way we've looked at this whole scope, it's always making sure we're promoting
We haven't-
through the Friday Flash, the current way now,
Yeah,
yes.
right. I mean, I could think last fall and I walked downtown and there's a Fiat, I think the Fiat.
Exactly.
I didn't know about it. And I asked a few of the residents in town, somebody on CCD, and they said, I don't know anything about it. We would have gone, we would have known. Might have been that they, didn't give the information to Jennifer
Mhm.
saying that, but we want to make sure anytime we can bring those two entities together. On the communications piece, we do that.
I think a good one that is measurable that you've been doing, and it's actually on tonight's agenda, is supporting and development of the monthly themes for the magazine.
The monthly theme.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's a great one that, it makes sense that it comes from the community instead of coming from management on saying the theme for May should be, I think that's a better if it
So
comes
we have a
from.
few already identified, right?
We have through April, that has been identified and discussed with this committee. That's why I'd like this committee with the time, or with, hopefully we can complete at least a couple of these in today's time, is that we look at May, June, July, and August of coming up with themes.
May. Spring. The Easter.
April.
April, okay.
Do you want to call them? I think theme is good, but do you want to even make it broader, like editorial calendar for aligned with each of these themes? I think that could be another objective. You have a theme, okay, so what? So what's next? Like, what part of that? What are we going to do? What are we going to
To
create?
tie it all together in
Right.
the magazine.
So, yeah. Because I can tell you for March, it's lucky to live in celebration, 30 years of community charm and good fortune. And April is celebration in full bloom. And
That's horticultural.
yeah, we can tie into that. And we do, and just so you know, we share these themes with our contributors as well. So that way, the garden club and, maybe the foundation or any of and this even goes to the Democrats of Celebration, the Veterans Club, ROTC, they hopefully can try to tie the theme into their
Have they given
content.
it in the past, have they given you?
Yeah, we have had some that do match this. It can be challenging, but they try, essentially, we saw that in our February with it was about different ways of love. And we saw love being tied or threaded into the different articles being submitted.
That's good. Support it.
Mhm.
Okay, so, we're doing May.
Service.
Huh?
Like
So,
something around service, since it's Memorial Day. And it could be like service, like acts of service.
Could be service, it could be committees. We gotta get the word out about committees too. I mean, they'll be already in place by then. But volunteerism,
Yeah,
Mm.
serving.
serving,
Of
course, there's opportunities.
Or your, or your association.
so you got the foundations already in play. I mean, you. They can tie that, you know.
So that's a Mother's Day. I don't know if that's,
Mother's Day done?
it's in May.
Good.
I don't know if that fits in with this. It may not really.
service does.
Yeah.
Could
You're creative. Find a way to,
be a little bit of a stretch. We can
Yeah.
figure it out.
but I like the common thread throughout the whole piece, any way we can tie that in.
It has, this, I think, stemmed from actually, I want to say the first committee meeting of this new term. Where it was, we were looking at, I think, the May magazine, and it was featuring the Aloha cover, and I say, how does this connect? And so that was kind of one of those, at that point, it was more geared towards, manager, why did you choose this? And it was one of those, well, there's no parameters on what we choose for the cover, or then the cover being the theme through
Right.
the magazine. So let's work together and say, like, if we have a theme, at least we can tie it. And then even if somebody asks, why did we choose this? We can say, oh, well, because we connected it to the theme in this process in this way.
So one of our objectives as a committee, we would recommend that we sit down every month, for months that are coming up, and identify that month's theme and how that can tie together.
Yeah, because the cover is, I've seen,
objectives would be-
is the struggle.
We did it.
And always trying to get a cover. And if we have a concept on a theme, it does make it easier to try to go a direction with it.
Yeah, makes sense. How much advance, so how many months in advance for each meeting? Thinking,
So, and let's just look at in February's meeting, March is already submitted. So now we're asking contributors for April. So we would already, so
So definitely.
we need May's now in February. So how many months out is that? 2?
60 days.
Yeah, at least 60 days out that this committee
You already
is
have
always,
April's identified?
we have April's identified. But, and that was already communicated and in sense, it's because March, our contributors are already writing their articles. Because they know it, they've already submitted March's articles.
Okay.
And they have till the 20th of this month to submit. So they're already working on that. So we need to think about what are we sending them next.
Yeah, so the objectives is the process and the execution. I mean, that's sort of in theme development, thematic development, editorial calendar creation, and then whatever the mechanism is to get the information so that you could, whether it's outreach to the community, ask for contributions, or whether it's creating a sort of an ad hoc committee group you could use, you could tap into. What do you think about, you're gonna be in this job. What about identifying external ex officio resources for you outside of the committee? I mean, what if you like, because a reporter, I use this as an example, a reporter has sources that he or she would rely on to get information. There's nothing better for you than to do the same thing. I mean, you don't have to go ahead in a formal process, but you're gonna meet a boatload of people. And maybe you say, hey, can I ever call you for some ideas? And then you sort of create a
Network.
little network for yourself to, I mean, I think that'd be a good, maybe it's not something that, I mean, it could be a committee objective to create that, because how else are you gonna get information unless you have someone giving it to you? You're not gonna walk around the street. So maybe that, again, it's part of the process to make sure that you don't miss anything, sort of enhancement of your communications flow backwards and forwards, like a little bit of a churn.
Mhm.
So
Network.
You probably haven't thought about it, but she probably has a Rolodex in your mind, being here 23 years.
virtual Rolodex.
That's what I was gonna say, like, even from from the residents' perspective, what do you think we need to do as an association to better our communication with residents? Like, so like from your expertise and like your background, and then like through the lens of a resident, what would you think that we need to like work towards?
Well, I do think the education is a big part of it. I think a lot of people don't take the time to learn. A lot of the information, like Jacob said, is there.
It's there, but is it palatable enough?
Maybe that's part of it. It's accessible, but do they know where to
Yeah,
go?
is it easy
And is
for the
it,
average person?
and some people. They,
Judging on back porch posts, I would say no.
right.
It's no one's excited to learn about the HOA. It boils
That's true.
down
But
to,
then when
they
they
want
have a
that badge, they get the badge and they leave the building, right? So how do we, but there is that, and I did, as far as, I kind of redefine that as develop a campaign for CROA organization, CROA meaning the, associations, organizational education awareness. And that's a great one that it does, who better to come up with that than residents of the association to help provide the input.
So, you need us to come up with the theme for May today?
I mean, maybe we have volunteering service, so we can spin something out of that for sure.
If we did that, could we tie that in with the 30th anniversary and go back through time and like some of the organizations, some of the examples of things, volunteerism throughout the 30 years, Then you can touch on foundation, you can touch on different things that milestones.
Yeah, organizations that provide
Organizations.
residents the opportunity to volunteer.
And like some of the things we have in town, I'm thinking of Memorial Gardeners or other things that came about because of people that coming together, committees or
The butterfly garden.
Butterfly Garden, yeah, that's one. And that MPEG,
Mhm.
the master plan that's working on different things. different things where volunteers came together for the betterment of the community. And you could do it in the space of 30 years, so you could tie the 30 years with that. I don't know what the cover would look like. Maybe a
Yeah, well,
collage.
that's helpful because we do have, a couple page spread that we've kind of always allotted to CROA informational. This past, in February's edition, it has the candidacy and it has talking about town hall naming rights. We know that we're gonna use a small section of that for February for communication, to start the promotion for our committees.
Yeah. that's-
But it is something that we want to actually start putting an advertisement in about our volunteer program that we have internally for our events. That's
That
what
is-
we've discussed
That is a
doing.
huge gift to the association that.
And actually, that's a good one for May, is to highlight, to highlight the volunteer program. So we'll start with softness in it now.
It's money too,
Yeah,
because that's
Yeah.
work they would have outsourced.
we would have outsourced it, yeah,
And also it allows high schoolers volunteer out.
with their hours, yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I doubt a lot of residents even know it exists,
That's-
even if they don't wanna volunteer, just knowing it is beneficial, cause then it's like, oh, this is so great, my community does this.
Yeah. So I think that's, and that can tie back to that. I mean, you're already solving in your through your theming, you're hitting two things. Like with this May theme, you hit two things. One, you solved the objective of helping create a theme. And two, you're already answering your educational awareness, talking about impact, Butterfly Garden and the volunteer programs. And that's letting people know about this. And it's helping, our staff understand what to use these pages that are really for the association.
Mhm.
What do we want to put out there? And sometimes, we're in the daily and we're like, what are we gonna throw here? Where it's great to have a sounding board to get these better ideas.
I've always wanted to have a spotlight on a committee each month for the magazine. And then we could have one, communication or whatever,
Mhm.
highlight as a little blurb in the magazine. And that could tie back into it too.
Yeah.
And that could be a running thing, every month, committee spotlight.
Well, I mean, a good one would be the, what is it, ARC and covenants with the current guidelines.
Yeah,
Trying to get that input in from residents on those guidelines, those draft guidelines.
Has there been any input?
Anyway,
they have a meeting next week and not really.
you don't have the guy already logging in, yeah.
But, they're there.
A lot to go through.
It's a lot to go through, but.
I think the other
there's-
thing is making it clear what the ask is. I know you guys posted it to comment, but like, what does that actually mean? Like, what type of input are you looking for? I'm not sure if maybe I've glanced over that quickly, but like, just as somebody, it's like, I keep meaning to look at it, but I'm like, so what's really the ask? What are you looking for? Like, going through each and every guideline?
It's a lot of material.
Yeah.
And I'm on covenants and not having.
Like I said, we're kind of repeating that in Monday Matters, so that's a great opportunity for us to revisit the language there and we can refresh it, which is it's great for Monday Matters, but it also may help residents with that.
Right.
Maybe it needs to be more directive, like step one, review, step two.
Like, almost, now's your chance.
What is the
it
call to
called,
action?
now's your chance, review these how do you like your landscaping? Yeah.
Yeah, step three, email. And then if they still don't do it, then it's like, okay, then you must.
You had your chance.
But yeah. Yeah, it is hard. And people do need to see things more than one time. Like, I think what is it, like three? I don't even know.
Repetition.
It's,
is okay.
12 now.
Yeah, okay.
You have to see at least on social media, you have to
Oh, really?
things like 12 times
Yeah.
before you make a decision. You're gonna do something. It's kind of crazy how often it is now.
So we got about 5 minutes left in our time.
I'd like to look at the last item on the agenda, if you would like.
Which one?
The adjournment?
No, it is the last item, the last discussion item.
We talked a little bit.
Yeah, committee achievement. So let me pull up the.
We talked about we put the rails on for Monday Matters, Friday Flash and the magazine.
Those are,
Those are huge.
because that was like more directive. 2 years ago. So-
One directive that we put to, the CROA and it lasted 1 month was a monthly, letter from the president telling the state of our world. was our recommendation to do it monthly, because we really don't have a presence other than that one this month. In the magazine per se for CROA. I'm gonna be on the board starting next month, and I'm gonna push. I want a presence on the magazine for CROA each month, just say state of our world communication, this is what we're doing, this is what we're seeing. And it could be from the secretary, it could be the president, whatever, whoever one. That would be something that I would want to see, but
Is there,
that was an achievement we did last year.
I was gonna say, is there a reason why we haven't done it monthly? It would be something better
Well,
quarterly.
the reason I'm always here is, well, we used to do it, and then the next president didn't want to do it.
Right.
And I'm not sure where we are now, but I think there's an opportunity there. Just to say, we have a presence in the magazine. We have a message from the sheriff, we have a message from the county commissioner. We should have a little CROA blurb.
Maybe it's,
I'm-
maybe again, from this committee, it's providing guidelines as to what to talk, maybe for the board to say, like, these are the things we're looking for you to talk about.
Okay.
Can you, that way you're not just asking somebody to.
Yeah.
Write up on, what's gone on in the past month, maybe it's something more deliberate, that way.
And then maybe it ties to the theme. For the editorial calendar. So if you're talking volunteerism, that month, whoever the CROA person representative that's writing the article talks about committees and volunteerism, examples. Yeah. I like that. Other achievements that we did.
We looked recently at like the open rates. I know that was, I think, one of the
Yeah, I
objectives
saw that on the.
to.
I was gonna ask, are there any objectives we didn't meet? Because we saw them up on,
Yeah.
you had them up
I had
earlier,
them
but
up,
is there
yeah.
anything we haven't met that we?
And we can, I'd carry that one over,
Yeah,
because we can always, what, no?
And this is where we got into it a little bit. I mean, because they have their core purposes, right? Monday Matters and Friday Flash. And are we wanting to, if we want to get more attention to them, is it because we want to change the content? Is it because, so I think that maybe we keep it more focused on, I think the best way to do it is maybe to pull the metrics away from the e-blasts and reallocate that towards social media, because our Facebook page isn't that outstanding as far as the attention it gets in the articles. But it's, but since we're only doing one thing, we're only getting one audience, where it could kind of tie to this objective of pulling in other pieces can help build that. So I just see it as like, how do we,
I think like
there's room for improvement.
to just be like Monday Matters, Friday Flash, open rates, is that like what?
How do we, it's measurable,
Yeah,
but how do we get to that goal is often the hurdle.
like how do you increase it?
Mhm. If the content isn't planning to change, which Monday Matters and Friday Flash
I see what you're saying.
overall has no change expected to its content structure, how do we expect to get more engagement in that content is a harder
Well, we have a
task.
new manager,
Mhm.
new set of fresh set of eyes. Content might not change, maybe the look of it or the formatting of it.
Or the frequency.
have we ever considered a survey to the community as to, one, how do people consume information? Where do they consume it? 'Cause we've got a wide demographic of people.
That's really good. That could be an objective
I think that's a better
Doing
objective
research.
than.
for the new committee to.
Because then that way we know.
We've
where
talked
we're
about that
spending
for
our
2
time.
committees
No,
doing
that's really
research.
good, and then we can get that information and then either implement it next year, or it might take the whole year to develop the survey, send it out.
Yeah.
And then, but then the next committee could then have that survey information and expand their objectives. on
Yep.
that. Yeah, I think so, develop a communication survey.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah,
It could be 5 questions.
on Survey Monkey or something like that. The committee can just.
Where do you get
that,
your
right?
information?
What's the driving question? How do residents get their?
That's
Yeah,
There's a lot of misinformation if you go on back porch and things. So.
Yeah, and now we could even leave some of it open, open-ended.
yep.
It could ask for preferences too. I mean, we could just develop it.
Because if we find out like 80% is back porch, then we have to like figure.
Yeah.
figure some stuff out.
Well, I think it's how do you consume it today? How would you prefer to consume it?
Mhm.
You know, what's your go-to? Cause you know, you're gonna have some people who are definitely social media, some who are email, some who prefer print still and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where does that, you know, if we see there's a huge percentage in one place, we know where we can
We
spend our
do
time.
see that though. I mean, our resident service team creates their own flyers in addition to our flyers because there's people that come in there and they have questions
Yeah,
that are specific to that time and, subjects.
Yep.
And they'll create flyers and put them up in resident services because there are residents that want information that way. But to your concern as far as I go, we don't want to get Crow involved on, maybe the back porch as far as an organization. We already kind of answered that question though. If it is say everything's back porch, well, if we use our social media channel more, it provides more opportunity for people to link it or connect it
People
and.
go where they're being fed.
Mhm.
And like, if it's that back porch is doing it, that's naturally we're gonna go, but if we can, yes. If we could provide more value than the back porch, people will go there, and then the goal would be for them to share it.
Yeah.
Verbatim.
And a lot of that is probably content that we're either already doing in Monday Matters or Friday Flash that we're just not putting out through social media.
I think so. You could just, I think you
And
could.
then there's the opportunity for the new options like we're talking about, which is look at what we're doing.
this might be going way down the line. I'm just thinking like Facebook and they like asking questions and you know, utilizing technology too. But if there are questions that people have, creating like we have like a little chat bot through Facebook that like answers certain questions for my business that like residents could, that's a long down the line, but where we could get to is having like
Yeah.
being able to. Although maybe you guys just launched that with the new app, right? The chat.
Yeah,
functionality.
there's a new AI chatbot functionality
I saw that.
within Syrinex now.
Yeah.
Just launched.
Even if it just directed people on the website, like where to find it.
Yeah.
Like maybe they don't get the answer, but they're like, go here, click under here, and that's where, like where to find it. That
Okay, well, I'll respect people's time.
Very.
Huh?
I think this is very productive.
Okay, so what did we learn today? So we're talking about doing maybe a survey. We talked about, welcome to on board,
Thank you.
ideas for the future, digital and, social media and themes, and maybe every month we go through the outstanding months and help collectively give you themes and,
For the future months.
we only have one more
Doesn't
meeting,
need
right?
help.
Thank you.
We only have one more meeting, and then the board's committee's gonna change. I won't
There's
be
a
on it
weird
anymore.
one, but yeah, because
We're gonna need some more help from you guys,
Ahead of before the
if you
board
wanna
meeting.
be involved with it. And if you know anybody that wants to be in marketing or communication, I really want to take this next month to really jazz up the committees and get some fresh people and new
Yeah.
faces in there and new ideas. We got a lot of talent in this community. So think about that if you want to be on the committee anymore and how you can contribute in
Yeah.
greater sum.
William, Doug, get some people on because he won't be on it anymore.
Mhm.
I say we got to get more people on this committee.
Yeah.
Because he can't be on it anymore.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can keep,
What? You want to be a liaison?
no, I said that'd be
Oh.
great if we could keep.
As
Well, yeah, as a liaison, but we need
Yeah.
more. we need
Yeah.
committee members.
Well, we do, we definitely need.
We need to keep the committee fresh and
No
Yeah.
quorum, no
I
meeting.
think
Yeah.
it's
Quorum,
great for any
just get quorum.
resident, if you want to spread the word to be
Please.
on a committee during the 30th anniversary year would be, exciting, to be part of.
Can we do for Friday, is a Friday flash, we're trying to seek out committee members? Would that be with the
It's
forum or Monday
Yeah.
Matters?
Mhm.
Could we get one on for Monday Matters?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
want, I
once
want
we
to
do
start early.
We're about to launch the call for candidates, and then when we do that.
When,
that's
when does that
we-
launch go?
I think I gotta look and see when we're discussing, but like in the next couple of weeks, I think it's it's either in the work. So that's in the next couple of weeks, but that's a month earlier than usual.
That's what
And we're not
I'm all
changing
about
the
doing it
deadline,
early.
so we're just opening it up. So we're already, the plan is having basically the socialization for call for candidates for committees to be a month longer than usual because we're a month ahead of the board's election.
Mhm.
Usually we don't talk about anything yet until after the board is, the annual meeting and the board meeting has happened, and then the first meeting of the board. And then we start talking about committees. So we're already looking a month early on that, which is good for this initiative.
Okay. All's good? Motion to adjourn? Second,
Second.
adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just need. Yeah, you ride together?
No, we didn't. That's.
Hope we see you next month.
Okay, so
Actually-
thank you. Pleasure to meet you.
Stay here.
Thank you.
You guys.
Actually, I'm sick. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
How do you like?
Very nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
I'll see her next week if she's.
Very good to see
Yeah,
you
she'll-
again.
Glad you're here.
It's
Be wonderful to work with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I know.
So, real quick,
Yeah, sorry.
don't,